So this week we were talking about heat and fires, and that got me thinking about my ninja Cliff. But this isn't about what he used to do. This is about what he's doing now. He may be new to this YouTube stuff, but he's not playing around. It's going down. This was not a paid advertisement for the Cali Brick Click, but a huge two-boop salute to what Cliff used to do.
If I can't talk because I'm just seeing you smiling, it's just because my family's yelling in the background. I can't do that. In 5, 4, 3. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 88 of Cali Brick Click. And before we get into the introductions, remember you can find this episode and all previous episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. If you're on Apple Podcasts, comment, because there's like 40% of you who listen on the podcast platforms. Do it through Apple Podcasts, and we haven't had a review in like months. So if you're over there, give them what's up. But like always, we have Claire the Plastic Architect. We have Ninja.
Yo.
And today we have MKMBrick.
What's
Michael.
up, guys?
How's it going, dude?
It's going great. Very excited to be here.
And by the way, I chose to ask you, not your army.
Exactly. I appreciate that. Yes, I appreciate all the few of you there that have been asking, commenting.
I'm just ready to see what they put in this one.
Right? And if you guys stop commenting after this,
yeah, you better, Ace, especially you, Ace, you better keep it up.
Isn't it just Ace, or are there other people as well?
Mateo's there, Squidman's there. I think maybe Lex, Levi. There's a few of them.
Squad,
pretty much from Twitch.
Right? I was like, okay, how long can we go before I ask Michael to come on here? Because
honestly, I found it kind of funny. I thought he was gonna just do it once and just stop, but every week he'd be like, "Look at the comment I left." I'm like, oh my god, dude. Because I would watch the video and he didn't leave a comment. Okay, maybe he's done. And then I look, oh, there it is.
It's not always right away. Sometimes,
I know.
Like the new episode's out and they comment on the other one. I'm like, okay,
gotta let them marinate.
Exactly.
But yeah, so you guys out there, the MKM army, keep commenting. Just FYI, Michael was gonna be coming on here months from now, but it's cool. We can bring it in early. So, but keep commenting because we love the engagement. But how's everyone's week been? Claire's finally home. She's settled in. Ninja, you good, bro? It's hot.
I've been a ninja.
It's hot.
Incredibly
I've been
hot.
cooking out here, man.
Like, how hot is it over there where you are? It's about $102 right now, and it's 7:00 in the evening.
Right now, I don't even know. Right now, it's pretty cold, but in the afternoon, it was like 111.
Dude,
111.
Baking, yeah. We actually, Barbara has these little like cling things on the window, like they're like gel or something, like decorations.
They melted off, right?
They melted.
Oh
yeah.
Man!
But luckily, it's like a skull, so it kind of looks fresh still.
Yeah, that's perfect. Is there anything on Halloween?
Man, you know how she does now. She stays ready for Halloween.
I love Halloween. Halloween's is a good holiday. I'm starting to do the Halloween Lego sets, and it's very fun because I have no other decorations besides that. So I do like my 4 or 5 Halloween sets and put them out.
Okay,
but
you don't decorate the front of your house?
We used to when I was a kid. I was the one who would decorate. I'd put the fake spider webs out, do the whole 9 yards. But we don't have any, or I don't have any Halloween decorations.
Is your neighborhood like really big on trick or treating? Like my neighborhood isn't. So
nobody comes up here because I'm on a hill. And the houses are really not really spread out, but they're decently spread out. It's not like a cul-de-sac sort of neighborhood, so nobody comes up here because they'd have to walk. You walk like half a mile and you get 5 houses, so it's not really worth it.
There's no loot.
I'm assuming, like at least in the neighborhoods in the San Fernando Valley of Los Angeles, like there are neighborhoods that go all out for like Halloween, Christmas. So like everyone in the valley or in our part of the valley goes to those places for trick-or-treating, or goes drive through them during the holidays because it has all the decorations. I'm assuming you guys have the same thing.
Yep, it's the exact same thing. There's a place that's about an hour from here. It's called Christmas Tree Lane. It's the whole it's like a 5-10 mile long strip, and every house decorates, and it's become this huge thing. Traffic for hours to go through it. At this point, it's not worth it, but it's definitely a spectacle.
There's one around here. I forget what it's called, but like even the radio station syncs up with all the houses.
Yep.
And like, yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Imagine not wanting to participate as a neighbor, like in your
I
neighborhood.
know.
And, like, that was
The
about-
one house.
every year, like every time we do the Christmas thing, we see that one house in the block that just is lights are off,
Mhm.
no decorations, whether it's Halloween or Christmas, and it's just like they can't get out or in because
Like,
of all
man,
the traffic.
you-
all the people.
I don't know. They're probably Jewish or like Mormon. I don't know, but like they're probably don't celebrate one or the other, and they're like stuck there because they like accidentally bought property there. Like,
Dang, yeah.
like
There are
Happy
probably
Christmas.
there are I know at least a few people that aren't like I know one of my friends was Muslim and they do a tree and everything because at this point there's like it's kind of almost a separate thing too where it's
depends on the family.
yeah it depends on the
I mean,
family
like,
too but
we do that too. Obviously, like
Yeah.
I didn't grow up with it though. Like I started incorporating like a tree afterwards, but like
mhm.
my dad would sooner be dead than have a tree in his house. It's like
It's more
But-
like the corporate side of Christmas, the shopping, the gifts, that sort of thing, versus the religious aspect, I guess.
it's just it's such a personal thing,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So how hot is it by you? Because Michael's also a Cali resident,
Yes, I am,
So-
which is fitting,
right?
very fitting.
It's we have a fire close by us.
Really,
Yeah.
there have been
Are you guys safe over there?
no fires yet. Last year, this time and in August, the whole sky was orange. We had ash falling in the car. It's been a relatively quiet fire season, which is sort of strange considering the drought and how hot it's been and just all the factors. But maybe there's just no
Nothing
trees left to burn.
There's nothing left to
I
burn.
know.
Everything was burned down already. So
I mean, out here they've been doing controlled fires, so they burn everything before it can burn.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, I do know they're doing that in like the LA, like the Angeles Crest Mountains and all that kind of stuff, like controlled
Okay,
fires
yeah.
to prevent the season like last year,
mhm.
knowing
Yeah,
that there's going to be no water.
I'm wondering too if maybe they're doing a better job trying to prepare each fire season. And because I know a lot of the fires, at least up north, are caused by the power lines when winds get really high, and that's a big thing. But they've been doing a lot of clearing, so maybe that's why the fires have been less. Because I was reading an article at this time last year, there were 80% more fires at this exact same time last year. It's
I remember
way under.
California's burning.
Shout out to the
Exactly.
firefighters.
Everyone thought it was the
Definitely.
apocalypse.
It's- I went to PetSmart in the middle of the fire, and it was one that was pretty close. And I just remember seeing that I couldn't even see the sun. The whole sky was just orange, literally ash falling on the car. Like the air quality is like 400. Don't be outside at all. Like 5 minutes of exposure is equivalent to smoking 20 packs. I don't know what the
Right.
stats are on that, but just should not be outside. But this
Kids
time,
out here,
nothing.
kids out here get smoke and ash days instead of snow days.
Exactly.
Right?
That's our snow is ash falling from the sky.
No, I got a message today from my kid's school that they're not going to play outside because of how hot it was. And I'm like, that's new.
Dang.
I don't remember doing that.
Think about it. Like it's just
Heat stroke it's actually
Yeah.
pretty serious too. A
It
lot of
is.
kids don't drink enough water too, and they
it's so hard to it's too much for the teachers to like make sure the kids drink enough water, that they stay hydrated, and also children don't have the capacity that adults do. Adults barely have the capacity to be like, that's too much for me, or I've pushed my
Right,
body
I was
too
just
far.
thinking that.
It's like
Yeah.
Dang.
No. Ezra's the type to like not like
Yeah.
hydrate on his own.
Mhm.
He'll just keep running till he just falls.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly.
I was the same way. So like I remember so
Imagine, like-
when I was my dad did Civil War reenacting like
Oh, that's
back
cool.
in the day. And like I was a water boy, right? And like my job was to give all the reenactors water on the battlefield. And one of the battles I passed out
Oh my god!
because
Because he didn't drink enough water.
I didn't drink any water. And the
Oh,
water boy
irony.
passed out.
That's great.
And it was I mean it wasn't cool for me. I was like
Yeah.
but like they like the actual like the medical tent, they're actually the reenactors from the medical tent were actual doctors and nurses and stuff.
That's cool.
So like they brought me over there, they stripped off all my clothes, dousing me with water and doing all this stuff in front of like a crowd. so they all thought it was like like they were reenacting when in
Oh my
reality it was
God.
like
like a
real
serious,
thing.
yeah.
And
Oh,
like
that's funny.
like, now that I think about it, like should they have done that? But since it's like
A lot, yeah, serious.
in front of like a crowd, but
Mhm.
in they were just doing what they had to do just to
Yeah.
get my temperature down. So yeah, like It is pretty. It's pretty hot. So hydrate anyone in the SoCal area. I don't know how the weather is everyone else. I know Texas. They're like it's like that. It's always this hot. I don't know. We're in like 100 days of heat. So whatever.
And next week for 4, I think right now it's saying 4 days straight. It's going to be over 110, 4 or 5 days straight.
It's been lovely here. It's like in the mid.
Yeah. Yeah. But I am going to visit my parents, and they live on the coast. So I'm going at the convenient time because it's probably 70 degrees there.
Oh yeah, on the other side of those mountains.
Yep. And that it's going to be foggy too, because when it's that hot here, all the fog just rolls in. So it'll be nice. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's not us. So I've been like leaving packs of frozen water for our mailmen.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So I mean, like, so anyone out there, in case you were wondering, your mailman will take your water if you leave it out there. Like freeze it. Like especially like the really really hot days. Like those waters. Speaking from experience, like those given waters by like the neighborhood, like they go a long way when you run out of water. You know what I mean? Like what are you supposed to do? You have to keep walking. So they're out there. So if it's really hot and you have like a door-to-door mailman, not like one like some neighborhoods have like the boxes where not those. I'm talking about like when your mailman's doing loops in your neighborhood. If it's really hot, leave them some water. It goes a long way. They really appreciate it. So didn't have to do that for a while. But anyways.
I didn't know that. Also, I found out the FedEx and those UPS trucks do not have AC.
Nope. None of the delivery trucks have AC.
Yeah, it's not efficient because of how often they're stopping.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even imagine being in the car when it's 111 outside. So you know what that means. Inside is probably even hotter.
Yeah,
and they're moving back and forth and
carrying boxes, running back and forth. Windows, like it's horrible. Like I think that was a problem. Like some UPS driver had like a heat stroke. Locally.
Yeah, they fired him.
Yeah.
Nice reward.
Hydrating. He didn't hydrate. That's like the thing that they promote. Like you need to drink. If you pass out, that's your fault. That's literally what they say. Like know your body, know your limits. If you like, I remember like since I was the youngster, even though I'm not young, even
for that guy,
they'll be like, "Hey, can you go help out Route 45?" I'm like, "Why?" they're like, "Hey, Ron he's having a heat stroke," as he says. I'm like,
"Oh my god!"
I'm like, okay, fine. I'll go over there. I'll take off something from him and just go over there. He's just like laying on the back of his truck. I'm like, "Do you need to go to the hospital?" He's like, "No, I'm just gonna lay."
I'm good.
I'm like, "Oh man." So, yeah, hydrate. But speaking of not heat stuff, hey, Ninja, did you know that McDonald's has Pokemon cards as Happy Meal toys right now?
Of course.
And they're limited, right? You can only do one per customer or something.
Is it? I didn't know this. I'm not a big Pokemon card fan, but my kids came home with Pokemon cards, and Ezra was like deep. Like he dove into the rabbit hole, and that's all he talks about every day for the past 2 weeks is Pokemon. We're currently watching Detective Pikachu right now.
More stuff that you can like use him as an excuse for you to buy, Shy.
No, Shy's like, nah.
No, I'm not getting into this.
There's nothing cool about that. No.
So first pops for him. Now he's in Pokemon cards. Great.
My nephews are in that exact stage right now. Their room is just the whole floor is Pokemon cards. Every day I go over there, and it's like,
like they don't care about the value of it; they just want it.
Yep.
Oh, not nice.
They have no idea what it, like. Nothing, no background about it. They just want it.
Man, I remember those days, and sometimes I miss that. Like I can't just open a pack and enjoy it. I'm like, oh my god, it's a something. Right? Put it back. Don't whoa.
Yeah,
don't
put it in a protector.
Don't scratch it. Oh my god.
Don't look at it. Don't do anything with it.
Don't enjoy it.
With cards, for me, I've collected basketball cards back in the day since I was like young. So I treated Pokemon cards the same way, like the Pokemon cards, not the what's the element stuff called again?
Oh, the element.
Like the
power cards.
Stuff. Yeah, the power cards are those. Like I didn't care about those, but I cared about the actual Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I cared about those. I used to put those straight into the sleeve, especially the holographic ones.
Yep.
Yeah, so those went into the sleeve. And my wife just reminded me because we were talking about Pokemon cards. She was like, "Did you have any of the rare ones?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Were they worth a lot of money?" I'm like, "Now they would have been." Because they were all. Because she was like, "Were they in storage when you lost it all?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Damn, that could have paid for my college education if you."
Today, yeah.
So, anyways, I didn't know that. Yeah,
That's
I
crazy
personally haven't
'cause
had McDonald's in a while, so I wouldn't know.
yeah, my kid, I was on it, but I'm not interested in. I know a lot of people like buying them out, but I was like, nah, let the kids have them. But that's crazy
Yeah.
that you said that about the Pokemon because I had a binder of all the old cards also.
Mhm.
But when I was like a teenager and I had the chance to get my stuff, I was like, nah, just go ahead, keep it. I grabbed this binder of Marvel cards. I was like, because these are gonna be worth money.
Oh.
I went to sell them; they were worthless. I was like, damn.
Oh man.
Damn.
Oh,
If only we
Live and you
knew.
learn, right? Yeah.
Yep.
that's like what everything in life, right? Almost. Like
Mhm.
probably what 20, like 10% of the stuff that we own as kids are probably worth some serious value now.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now it's trying to predict like what is going to hold its value going forward, right?
And
Yeah,
it's
that is
very
interesting.
difficult to do.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody actually knows. It's just like doing the
It's-
stock market. It's just
That's
Right?
exactly
I
the
have
same.
an educated guess, but that's like about it.
Like, who would have known Pokemon cards back then would be worth so much now?
Still
I
going.
did not think about it like that.
See, I can't wait till like 10 years or 20 years down the line and they're like, oh my goodness, all these LOLs are so
Oh God.
The dolls?
these LOLs are millions of
but-
dollars.
I mean, like some Barbies have like gone up in value, but not everything. I think it's just like more of like a testament. It's like things that are valuable are usually like things that are in good condition.
Mhm.
Then that means like you're not treating your toys as toys. And I don't know, that's a different conversation. It's like, okay, so you're, yeah. Like,
What was
Yeah,
the one
yeah,
everybody
enjoying it.
thought would be worse? Was it Beanie Babies? Everybody
Oh,
thought was going to be worse.
yeah.
that was like a big people lost their shirts on that garbage.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I feel like they
Beanie
still are.
Babies. Wow.
And there's probably people are still holding on to them, hoping that one
Will they
day.
come back?
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't
come
see
back in like
that.
10 years. Like it has to come
Guilty.
like do you think something has to hold its value like throughout the test of time, like Pokemon apparently, or like Lego, like there's still a fandom for it? Or do you think it has to come back with some random nostalgic moment that just pops out of nowhere like 10 years from now?
25th anniversary type stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like what do you think it is? Like do you think it's because of like for example Lego with Lego Movie 2 or Lego Movie, it blew up, right? But there was still a fandom there before the fact, and you guys taught me a lot in the past couple episodes that Pokemon was always there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
is it something has to like the value stems from a fandom that's always been established, or is
That's
it like for
interesting.
Beanie Babies it like tanked
Mhm.
significantly? Or do you
Yeah,
think it'll come back?
I think it can be a kind of two factors. So, like for Lego, for example, or Pokemon, like you said, there's always been that base. So that value is always going to be there in some way. You know, it might have some small dips, or you know, it'll maintain that price. But then we saw with COVID what that did to Lego prices, and just within the last year, especially for Star Wars, because of the resurgence of Star Wars in the last few years, and with Disney owning Star Wars, all the new shows. There are so many more people into Lego and Star Wars in general that prices are just, you know, unfathomable. Something you could get last year for $200 is now $1,000, and it's where does it end? You know, how can prices sustain that growth? I don't think they can.
And you're the perfect person to ask that question to, because you do a lot of reselling for Lego, right?
Mhm. Yep.
Can you
Oh.
elaborate on that?
Yeah. So
Nice.
it's
Okay.
interesting. So for an example, so there was the Slave One, the 20th anniversary Slave One set that I think it retired last year. I can't remember exactly. It retired within the last year. And that setup went huge in value when Book of Boba Fett came out. At one point, it was almost $300, and now it's like $200. And it's like, for why did it drop? I mean, I don't know exactly why. What was it? Because everybody invested in it, and so now there's this oversupply, and people just it's very hard to predict, you know, what the value of something is going to be. But that $200 is still worth more than what it was when it was available. I think it was a $130 set. So I mean, those people still made money, but stuff goes up and then it can go down. And like the Cloud City, that set, I don't know if you guys had seen what that had gone up to, almost $10,000 that some were selling for. $10,000 for that set. And now when people start seeing that set sell for $10,000, all these people that have that set say, well, I want to sell mine now. And so now there's a more supply of that set. And so that starts to drop the price. And now it's more reasonable, quote unquote, at $500 to $7,500, which is still not really reasonable for a Lego set, but people can stomach that price more than 10 grand for a Lego set, which is honestly unheard of at this point.
Yeah.
So someone for a value to go up that high, someone had to buy it for close to that.
Yeah.
Already.
Mhm. Yeah, multiple people. I saw multiple listings on eBay go for 10.
Wow.
And some people were asking 12. I don't think any of those sold, but I saw some sell at 10, which is I don't think that's got to be the most expensive retail set to ever sell.
Now,
You know,
is that set so like did it slowly climb to that price point, or did it like like for example the Osprey, like obviously when it first came out, people were selling for stupid money, and now it's the ones that are out there aren't selling for stupid money anymore, versus like the Christmas X-Wing, Lego Employee X-Wing, like that started at a decent reselling price at like $300 when, you know, a couple months after it was announced and released, and now it's like over a grand. Yeah, so it's like that went up. So is Cloud, I'm assuming Cloud City is like on the downfall.
Yeah, so it had been, you know, 2020, if you were to look at the price of that set, was probably a couple $1,000s maybe. I don't know the exact number, but within the last year is the majority of that growth has been within the last year, and now it's gone down a little bit. But I don't think it'll ever. I don't think a set like that's going to tank, you know, completely lose all its value, because that was at a time when Lego Star Wars wasn't anywhere close to what it is now, and it's just an older set, meaning there's not as many people have that set sealed. So there's a lot of factors that go into it. But
well, the figs alone are
pricey.
Yeah,
by themselves.
The main value is that Boba Fett figure, but the other ones have gone up too. Like the Luke figure is now $300, $400, $500 figure. Same with the Leia, the Lando figure.
So like people say that like investing in Star Wars is one crazy gamble, as you've kind of noted, because they could remake it. Like the probability of remaking a set or reinterpreting a set is very likely, very, very likely. Look how many X-Wings we have, TIE Fighters. Yes, I know those are the ones that people want, but there is a probability that they make another Cloud City, which they have in a different way, but still done. But that set, and there's others out there that are very, very specific, will always have its value. Like
100%. And it depends too on the remake. How close is that remake to what the original one was? Is it the same set but so different that you could put them next to each other that they're, you know, they don't look the same? It also depends on how many people, you know, want that set. Like, is it something that is in the new show? Is it going to be popular? And like you were just saying, the Cloud City, they did that remake, but it's a totally different set. But that Cloud City, that more recent one's almost $1,000 now, which is insane because it also just recently retired. I've been wanting to get that, and I looked, and it's like $1,000 now on Bricklink, and eBay's even more. And then the Death Star 2, which I don't think you can see it on camera, but maybe right there, that one just retired last year, and it's already $1,000 set. And that was the one they did a direct remake of, which in that case, it did drop the value of the original because it's the same set, essentially almost identical, the same set. The new one had like 100 more pieces, but the sets were, you know, essentially the same. So in that case, it did drop the value a ton on the original, and now the original is still less than the newer one. Which
for that set specifically, do you think it's because it's being advertised in, I don't know, Spider-Man?
Oh, it could be. Yeah, that could be. That probably did drive the demand up for that. Yeah.
So I was watching Kevin Hart's new movie on Netflix, like Me Time or something like that, and not to dive into the movie, but his son has like Lego everywhere, and they're currently building the Death Star 2, the UCS one. And I'm like, you can't buy that set anymore.
Nope.
Like at all. So like, but they're throughout the entire movie, there's snippets of like, you know, the story kind of gets to building that, all that kind of stuff. So like, I wonder, it's already an expensive set, is like that influences, well, for one, how they got one of those sets in a recent movie kind of baffles me.
Yeah.
But to see that type of influence, like free marketing for specific sets does not, I'm assuming, help.
That was $10,000 of their budget.
I don't know. I think Lego's actually in a lot more media and like movies and stuff than you may realize. It's like in a lot of stuff. Like it's actually pretty commonplace. I don't think like a lot of the marketing is like coming from that. I think that was kind of like a one-off extreme situation. I don't know. It's just interesting. It certainly feels like in the last 3 years, a lot more people with a lot more disposable income have gone into the hobby.
Yeah.
And particularly in the Star Wars area. And then there almost seems to be like a falsification of demand for certain things because like there are so many investors that are buying and reselling to each other a lot. So yeah,
100%.
I don't know, Michael, what do you think? Like how much?
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. That is kind of what happened with the Cloud City, where I think it was just people exchanging hands with that set, where the set would go to one person, they'd buy it and then list it for $1,000 markup, and then someone else buys it, and now it's at 7, 8, 9, and then they got to 10,000, and that apparently was the point at which people were not willing to buy that set anymore. So now you have 15 people wanting to sell this set for $8,000 to $10,000, and now they can't sell it, and so what do? They got to drop the price. They got to start selling at 7,500, and that one sells, and people see that go for 7,500, and that's the new quote unquote value of the set. So it's kind of interesting how that happens. And I don't think anybody's opening those sets. I couldn't open a $5,000 Lego set. I don't think I could. Unless I was a millionaire, maybe. But
Yeah.
Just to have that type of cash, just to be like, let's open.
Just to
I would
get
buy
the brick separator out.
Yeah. It's so interesting though, Lego, and yeah, and I think Lego Star Wars and also is a very separate thing too, in that it's so unpredictable. There are other Lego themes that those go up in value too, but nothing like we've seen with Lego Star Wars. But then there are the modulars too, which have gone up crazy prices.
Yeah, and so far they haven't gone to a pattern of remaking something exactly the same.
Which I don't think they will. So I think those values will hold pretty strong.
Mm-hmm. But that could be a gamble too, because look at there are other sets like Claire's been very, very unfortunately cursed with. For example, the Batmobile, the Tumbler.
I'm not like that sucks. But like on average though, like I've bought the majority of my sets before the latest, like my retired sets before the latest of this last year, like huge jump. I actually really buy very little retired stuff now, unless I see an incredible deal, which is usually at, a Lego convention. But if like the amount of new sets to retired sets has completely changed, like in terms of what I buy now. I definitely buy less retired. I was really lucky and I bought a lot of other ones like before the big boom. But overall, it's kind of like the stock market. You like lose a little bit, but overall my stuff is valued really high. So I'm not worried.
Yeah, of course. For me though, like if I get something if I get something retired, I tend to go to used because I already know I'm going to open it. And I'm going to play with it, and my kids as well have a high probability that my kids are going to play with it. So
yeah, I think the kids thing is a huge factor. I think the other factor is like, is there a lot of old brown in it? What are you risking here?
Yeah,
like there's kind of like another gamble there. I don't know. It's hard.
Yes. So old material for plastic is a big deal. So Fire Brigade, I think I lost every single brick on there to cracking. I had to like order a bunch on Brikx just to get that whole. I even glued some of them together.
Yeah, so that was one of the reasons why I've been parting together some of those older sets, because I've just replaced it with like the new product.
Yeah,
like the new replacement, like immediately, because that's to me that's
so updated brick.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Not like the ones that came back then. That's smart.
Yeah, because even like the clips and stuff back then were just more brittle.
Mm-hmm.
No. See, I bought Fire Brigade brand new out of the box, but obviously 3 years ago. So it's already been out for over like a decade. So like that did not age well in the box, even if it was untouched. Like I lost almost all the reds in that set.
And when did that get fixed? Was it 2017 or 2018?
Around there, sure.
I remember there's like this cutoff where if you buy something after that year, you're good. But
the Lord of the Rings stuff was like 2017, I think, and a lot of that stuff shreds.
Ooh.
Interesting. So this is kind of on topic with that. I'm going to be doing Lord of the Rings reviews, and the first one I opened was the Gandalf Arrives. See it right there. The horse on that will not move. The legs don't move. They're stuck.
Don't move it.
So on the review, I'm gonna try to force it. I know it's going to break, but the horses themselves are $5, so I'm not too worried about that. And I did have a brown piece break on me. Luckily, it was a 1x2, so easily replaceable. But yeah, it's the first set in,
right?
So.
All right, so we're gonna get into that. We're gonna lead into that. But speaking of selling, so there are 2 platforms you sell on, right?
Yes, that's correct. Mm-hmm.
So eBay being
eBay
one,
and whatnot. Yeah.
Why not Bricklink?
I'm actually going to start selling on Bricklink as well. Just on not as much as I do on whatnot, of course, but I'm getting a lot of brand new brick from people that are selling just the brick and not the figure. So I'm getting incredible. I got a bunch of 501st battle packs and AATs and Snow Trooper battle packs. I'm talking a huge box for like $20 of all brand new brick, which I don't know what that flips to on Bricklink, because I know there's so many of those bricks. They're very common stuff, but even if it's $100-$200, why not? I mean, because I think Bricklink is more low key, where you might not get an order for a week. Who knows? I don't know how. I haven't touched it yet. So that's going to be something I'm doing. Yeah.
Passive income.
Like you need
Yeah.
a lot of like your inventory has to be huge and diverse to bring people into your store for them to realize, oh, I'm here. What else do they have? You know what I mean? 'Cause that's what I do. Like, I'm here. I only spent like $4. What else do they have?
Yeah.
You know?
So I don't know if I'm definitely not going to be a full-time seller. And who knows, if I list it and it's on there for 3 months and doesn't sell, then I'll just try to sell it to somebody for a tiny bit of profit.
You could do like bulk or something.
Yeah, that too. So, because I got it for dirt cheap, where I could sell it even to somebody as bulk, and I'd probably still make my money back in, maybe a little bit of profit. But I'm just kind of curious to see how the platform works from a seller side. So, but it's definitely not a priority. Yeah, exactly. But it's not a priority. That's kind of if I have time, I'll do it.
Do you ever want to get into mock building at all? I'm just curious.
Yeah, at some point. And that's the other thing too, where it's like, if I don't use, if that stuff doesn't sell, well, then I can add it to my collection. And there's always that. And since, like I said, I got the stuff for so cheap.
Expensive. Yeah, it's always more expensive to go retroactively and go buy a brick and stuff. I see a lot of people selling sets to make like a few bucks here and there, but they're also talking about building MOCs and having all these plans to make MOCs, but they don't actually have like a parts collection. And I find it a little bit funny as to how they think people come up with a parts collection on their own.
Right.
Like a parts collection we have parts collections because 80% of our sets are broken up.
Break them down.
Yeah. And it's like, I think there is like, I'm not calling you out here, but there is like a dissociation with like the few profit. Like it makes sense if you like need the money in the short term or something, or if you have no intention of building MOCs and stuff, but it is also like something that needs to be built up over the long term. And so otherwise you're going to be spending like thousands of dollars.
Yeah. It's not cheap.
It's building MOCs. I think a lot of people are also, not that this is the topic of our thing, is significantly more expensive than buying sets. And something like a $10,000 Lego set, people easily spend that money on really big MOCs all the time at Lego conventions.
It's like mind-boggling.
Yeah, like if Shy is actually honest, because Venus doesn't watch this, with how much he spent on his castle stuff, it will put a lot of these like Star Wars.
Wow, called out.
But no, and same, like the amount of money that I've been willing to spend on parts, and if I I've gone through and done the math of like all like the Pab cups and all that stuff, and which is still the cheapest way to buy that stuff. It's incredibly expensive, and the cheapest way to get parts is to break down your sets. And so I don't know. I could be totally wrong. I'm curious because I know there's a lot of old school mock builders and stuff who listen to our like our podcasts. I'm really curious what you guys think. I know there's a lot of Bricklink sellers and people who like really look at part out values of sets and stuff like that, and like what the scale is. But there is, in my opinion, there's like a point where you need to start saving your sets that you don't sell if you have that intention, obviously. But anyway, totally sidebar.
No, I mean, there's a point in there that I'm kind of curious about, because like I have like bins of broken down sets that I have yet to part into my parts collection just because of time. I don't have time to do it, and because every time I do it, my kids go in there and take the stuff out and stick in disarray again.
Yeah.
So like I don't really have the motivation to keep sorting. So I know. So sometimes. Yeah, so sometimes what I'll do, like for example, this, which is like Lego Joey's F-18 that I've been trying to make a video for a while. Like I know I have all those parts. Like I know I do. But it's just faster for me just to order it off of Bricklink and just get it all in pieces and get it all together versus me going through everything. Now, if I had an organized collection, that'll be great. But realistically, I've been trying to sort for like.
No, if you did it, you would have to like probably not upload for 5 months. Like if you really do it effectively, like for me, like that was one of the big reasons why like I took a break is like I focused on building our Lego room and now we're probably moving. So that was super.
But it's all organized now. Yeah.
Now you know how to set. No, I can't say that.
And you're so skilled now with your experience in sorting that you just go to other people's houses and you just start sorting their stuff for them.
There you go.
Yeah, that maybe happened here.
It might be a
small parts collection.
Yep.
So, so we're talking about like selling Lego. So like, there's been some debate where it's better to sell sets, full-on sets, whether that be on Bricklink or eBay, where it could be advantageous for the seller and or buyer. Like, so just to speak on that. So one of my reels is like past 2 mil. And it's a curse right now because it's a Stranger Thing set, and the people who are watching that aren't Lego fans. So like my DMs are ridiculous on where did you buy that? I can't find it on Amazon. It's like a ridiculous amount of money. I'm like, well, that's kind of close.
Too late.
So if I decide to answer, which I've given up at this point, but in the beginning I was like, you can go on either eBay or Bricklink, and like the explanation on Bricklink is. Like, I don't even know why I even bothered.
Yeah, it's not even
explaining that to people. Especially people like fans who are like, new Lego fans or just people who are like, just want the set by itself that aren't Lego fans. Like, explaining Bricklink in that process was, no, that wasn't happening.
That was a mistake, man. Yeah. It's kind of like trying to explain Reddit to somebody who doesn't know how to use a rotary phone.
Yeah, Reddit is.
Yeah, that's a perfect example of that. So, but. The best place to buy that full on would probably be Bricklink because that like I'm looking at the prices for both, and like eBay, what fees attached to that aside from PayPal? Yeah, how much does eBay take?
So eBay actually, I think they own PayPal or something like. There's some anyway. The fee is now there's no selling fee, but it's all one fee, and it's 12.
Okay.
For Lego, it's 12.99%, which I don't know why they just don't throw it at 13. But
13 might as well.
Yeah, it's so it's basically 13% plus a 30-cent listing fee, which.
Well, I mean, it's 12.9 just so psychology. You think it's 12?
Yeah, exactly.
So
it's basically a 13% fee for sales, which is pretty big. It hurts.
That includes PayPal, but what about Bricklink? It's still at 3% plus PayPal's what cut?
It's 2.9, I think 2.99 for PayPal.
So as a seller, it's advantageous to be selling on Bricklink.
Yep. Same with on Whatnot.
Same thing on Whatnot. All right. So what is Whatnot? Because I'm sure everyone listening to this probably already knows what Whatnot is, but they've been coming out heavily, swinging for the fences now and hitting a lot of people.
Yeah, I think they're doing a really good job. So basically, it's just a live stream selling platform. So people have a bunch of stuff to sell, and they do a live stream, and they show it all on the live stream, and they sell item by item, and you get to see for Lego and for a lot of this collectible stuff. It's really advantageous because you get to see it, up close, right in front of the camera. They can ask questions about the item. For minifigures, a lot of the times is that are there cracks in the arms and the body? What is the cape condition? Things like that make it really advantageous for that. And you can move stuff so quickly because on eBay, for example, when I do sets, the Star Wars sets sell pretty fast. I've had where I list 20 sets and pretty much all of them are gone in a day or two. But, you could be sitting on a set for a couple of weeks, whereas on Whatnot, it's gone on that stream and you package it and you're done with it the next day.
And isn't it like an auction type?
Yeah, it's auction. They do have a buy. Yeah, live auction.
Person. It's not like eBay auction where you're like waiting for someone to respond.
Yeah, exactly.
Real time.
They do have a buy it now feature, which is really nice. So for more expensive items or just things, sometimes you want to test the water on what the value people might want to pay is what the buy it now section is good for. So on my live stream tomorrow, I have a sealed set I'm going to put as buy it now because it's not selling on eBay. It's just, which is surprising. It's a Lego Star Wars set, and I was surprised it hasn't sold yet. And I'm the lowest listing on eBay. So I'm just going to put it on Whatnot for a little bit less, and buyer pays shipping on Whatnot, and the fees are less. So if somebody buys it, I'm actually making more anyway. So,
and I hear it's easy to like organize and send stuff because Whatnot provides like the shipping, labels, all that kind of stuff. You gotta keep track of like what's what, who's who, and does all that stuff. I think Chef was kind of explaining it all to me while we were both waiting for our plane in Chicago.
Yeah,
so, like he was telling me how easy it is. It's really not that hard. But I mean, so a lot of our friends are sponsored by Whatnot, and you can see on their streams how the hype can make things be overpriced. And we were kind of talking about that a little bit before this. So is it the same with yours?
It's so fun. It just depends on the item too. Some things go for less than I would expect, and then some things I've had on the past couple streams, some stuff go for 2-3 times what it goes on Bricklink, and I'm like, why? What? You could get this so much cheaper on eBay, or
you think it's just psychology behind it? Just because it's in the moment, like
I think it's that
I want it.
I think that drives it, is that especially if people exactly, if people start getting it. I think the bidding aspect in that bidding war, I think that's part of it. And people, if they're only spending a couple $100s,
are they aware that they're doing? I'm just curious. Like, are buyers on Whatnot conscious and like that they're spending more, or you think they're just like
in the moment,
they just don't care, or they're in the moment, or
maybe some people don't know the full value of something, but I think some of them just do it because they enjoy it, and they like to see the reaction of the seller, or they like to. It's just that community aspect, which I think is kind of cool, because you have followers on Whatnot, and there's the live chat, there's the interacting with the seller, versus eBay is very impersonable, where it's just, you look at a listing and then you buy it or you don't,
Plus on like the eBay or any other sites that sell like that, you have time to look up the value of that item. Whereas on Whatnot, you don't have time. You either bid or you don't. So you have that risk factor in mind, where that like you don't know, because for the most part, like I find myself fairly knowledgeable about what value is within the whole Lego communities, like Lego, but I wouldn't know every single bit and the details between other themes and factions, let alone the stuff that I favor. Like if you were to put a minifigure on board, like I'd be like, $12.
Yeah.
Then like, in reality, it's like 35 or 2. I wouldn't know. I would have to actually look it up on Bricklink or anywhere else. And then, but by that point, like it takes time, and then it's gone. So it's, I think as a seller, you have that advantage.
Yeah, definitely. And I try to stay in my lane, like, so to speak, whereas I just focus on Star Wars. I mean, I know, relative value of, like you're saying, a lot of things, Lord of the Rings, especially in Hobbit, but outside those Minecraft, but outside of those few like themes, if you showed me a Lego city set from 10 years ago, I couldn't really tell you, but I have the resources obviously to look that up. And I think for me, it works out better just kind of focusing and narrowing what I want to sell versus there's a lot of people on Whatnot that sell everything, Marvel, city figures, Star Wars figures, but then it's kind of people come to your stream and they're not sure what you're going to have that day, versus for me, it's going to be Star Wars, and that's all there's going to be. There's nothing else you're going to find.
You streamlined it. Makes sense.
Which I think it makes it easier for the buyer too. They know if they come in, they're like, "Hey, do you have any Lord of the Rings stuff?" Like, no, I'm selling only Star Wars, and then that clears that up pretty easy.
So with Whatnot, is there like a social media to it? Like you can follow sellers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. They're followers. You have to get the notifications when you're going live. You can bookmark the streams, and there's the live chat. You can send hearts during the live stream. There's all that social media aspect for it.
So I know you're like totally drinking the Whatnot Kool-Aid. You are loving it, and same with Twitch. But like the truth of the matter is, it's like I've never seen you more active on your Instagram. Since now that you've been doing Whatnot, like you're constantly promoting yourself, you're constantly promoting friends of yours. And it's like really nice that I feel like this has kind of taken you out. Like I know you've been wanting to do YouTube and stuff like that, but that is like too much of like a time commitment, which I don't think it is. But it's obviously you are loving this commerce side of things, which is like really great. And it's like really interesting. And I think you should kind of maybe be like, no, I'm not going to build MOCs. I'm not going to do YouTube videos. I'm doing strictly like what not selling? This is the part of the hobby that I like. Like, I'm curious because it's like been a couple years, right, for you to like kind of ramp yourself to do those things. And this, you were like, I want to do this, and you got into it, and you're doing it regularly. I don't know. I think that's like kind of telling. I'm curious what you're thinking.
Yeah, no, I definitely, and I am very much enjoying the like you said, the whatnot aspect. So I've been doing eBay for a few years now, but it's not, eBay is just, it's just not the same. It's not as, you don't really promote.
You're not sharing on social on Instagram.
Like, check out my eBay. It's like,
check out my latest post.
Yeah. So, but I have recently started to make a little bit more content, and I did just post a few reels or a couple reels in the past like week or two. And the one I did, was it yesterday or the day before? I actually really enjoyed doing that. And for me, I decided, instead of trying to, make a 10+ minute video, why not try to make a few 60-second videos or less and just see how that goes, and editing it. How much time does that take to edit for me? And it didn't really take that long. It took maybe an hour, and I really enjoyed doing it. And the topic I was discussing, I think was cool for me, just showing the set that I got through some of my friends that I've met. So I really enjoyed that. And it, I'm realizing now it really doesn't actually take that much time, kind of like what you're saying, Claire, where it doesn't, if you put your mind to it, it really doesn't take all that long. And I think the biggest factor has been cutting out video games pretty much out of my life, which it's so hard because I finish work, sometimes 6, 7, 8 o'clock, and I just want to eat dinner and just hang out with my friends or just play. Like, I don't want to go to another quote unquote job, so to speak. But I haven't really played much video games in the past month or two, and I've been literally the most productive I've been in probably 2 years, which is kind
of telling.
And yeah, I it's just, it's like a switch was just flipped, and it's really, I just feel
I played zero video games.
Do you think it's because, I mean, like, it's so hard for me to play video games. Like, I love it, and I have all these ones that are, on the docket to play, but I have to be like either sick or on like an international flight where I can't, you know what I mean? Or like something else. But then usually I'm like, well, why don't I read or whatever? There's like so many other things. But I don't know. It's the only people I know that actually play video games regularly and are incredibly productive are the most militant, self-disciplined people that I know. And they only play like a couple hours at like maybe like max 4 hours a week. And so you're not really like diving in.
Yeah.
I don't know. I not to like totally dump on the whole hobby, because I think there's a lot of value there, but man, it is a time suck.
Yeah. I have a very addictive personality. So like if I get into something, that's all I want to do. And it's been recently, or it had been, video games, and I just was enjoying it. And part of it, I think it's relaxing for me after work. And now that I have a fiance, I think that makes a difference as well. I have a fiance, so I can't just.
Congrats, by the way.
Thank you.
Side, but for everyone else there,
yeah, I very much appreciate that. So I think that also, in a way, has made me better with my time, because I can't just sit for 4 or 5 hours playing video games after work. No. That's just not going to fly. So, but I feel like it's easier to justify, hey, I want to work on this video. I want to do something quote unquote productive, which I think that's a lot more productive than I think just sitting by myself playing games in a room.
I was gonna say, where are these videos being posted? Yeah.
My Instagram is MKMBrick, same as my YouTube. So that's where.
So you're posting them on Instagram. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're focusing on Instagram. And
yeah. Well, I did post a short on YouTube. I reposted it there, but
how'd that do for you?
I did better on Instagram, which is funny.
Yeah, it's weird. Did you have the logo? Did you make the video first before posting on both platforms, or did you take it from Instagram onto YouTube?
So I made it for both. So I did one without music for Instagram, so I could add an Instagram sound that I liked, and then I had a YouTube version with a different sound, because I like the way Instagram, I think, is better that you can search sounds, and people sometimes look at videos by those sounds. I've never once done that on YouTube. So
yeah, I think people do that on Instagram. So I was talking to Greg Brikx about this, like, because he said I'm doing a lot for what I do. So what I do, which is I think too much, but I don't know how to extract the music from Instagram to be able to do that. So the reels that I do, I do it on Final Cut. But for me, like I'll make a rough draft reel on Instagram, and I won't, and with the sound that I want to use, because it's it's very specific. Like I can't just mimic that sound by buying it on anywhere or taking it from somewhere else. Like on YouTube, I have to take it from Instagram, and obviously you can't take it from there. So I'll make a rough draft. I'll post it like at midnight when no one's on, and then save it to my phone, then delete it, and then upload the actual video onto Final Cut, and then actually fine tune how I actually want it to be.
Shy, that's like you're literally taking a gun and shooting yourself in the foot.
Instagram, it works.
No, because Instagram promotes videos that are made solely on their platform itself.
Yeah. So
and on top of it, if you're an account that's like posting and deleting, that's like not a good look. It's like from like think about it, like from an analytical, like if you're a computer analyzing an account that you're going to be promoting or not promoting, why is this account posting and deleting?
So this is something I just recently learned. When you do that, the music, the soundbite that you took, it automatically links it to the original. So it goes back to so it's not like an original from me, like says my name, original music.
No, I know that it's not, but it's not whether it's original or it's not just the sound that's linked to the video that's grabbing it and promoting it. Like Instagram they've stated publicly that if you make your videos, and same with TikTok, if you make it on that platform alone, it's not like you're making it on iMovie or Final Cut Pro and uploading it, you will, like, your chances of getting taken and going viral or whatever are significantly higher.
So what I do, because I wasn't finished, so I will upload the cut, like the cut. The whole point is I want my cuts to be how I want to be according to the sound, and it's very hard to edit it on Instagram because it's very really hard. Yeah,
it's a really bad interface.
Yeah, so like I have to use Final Cut to get the exact cut how I want it to be. So what I'll do is look at the time frame of when that music's going, put it on Instagram, use a soundbite from Instagram, link it to how I want to cut, and boom, you have a good reel.
But aren't you making reels? I'm curious. Are you making reels because you like making reels, or are you making reels because you want to grow?
I like making reels.
Okay, got it.
I don't care about my Instagram growth at all.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. I see what you're saying. Yeah, because I used Adobe just to make mine because you can do so much more. And it was
you can get really clean looks. But like some of the big TikTokers like message me on TikTok. They're like, "Hey, it might be best to do your videos on a third like party. Like, don't take from one to the other. Like, do it one from like your wherever you edit, and then upload it to all of them. So that way the watermark's not there, and the platform doesn't think that you're stealing from other platforms." Does that make sense? Which is the reason why I started doing it like that. And I like it better that way anyways, because I get to have control over what my cuts are versus just kind of throwing it out there. And I'm, like I said, I like making videos. Like I just like making videos. So I don't mind that extra work to put the sound on there like that. But I don't know. The last one was fun to make. So I don't regret it. But
yeah, it's been just making that one didn't take long, and I really enjoyed it, and I think it easily could be something I could do at least once a week, especially just starting out and just see how it does. I've already thought of lots of different topics. It kind of in that vein where like the more informative type versus doing trends. Using there are different types, obviously, of TikToks and reels where you're just following a trend of using the sound, or you're doing more informative. And it's for me, I enjoy the more informative. Or I really did enjoy that one.
Yeah, you're telling a story. You're saying something. It's more than just dancing on a.
Yeah, I can't. I don't think I could do that kind of reel and TikTok. I just don't. It's just not for me. But these I can definitely do, and I actually really enjoyed it. And I've already thought of the next one, which I want to do. Hopefully, if I have time before I leave this weekend, but.
Since you like the short form content, there's nothing wrong with that, and now that YouTube's finally finding they're in beta with linking both of those algorithms, so now's the time to do it if you're going to do it. Why don't you like get heavy on the investing side of it, since you love doing it?
That's a good idea. Yeah, and talking about
because I see a lot of investment channels, and they do, when they have good things to say and it's value, it's a tutorial video, and tutorial videos do well because people want to know.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Like if you're doing it in short, because I don't see a lot of them doing it in short form content. A lot of them are doing it in like long form content, which is nothing wrong with that. But not many of them are doing it like very, very heavily with the short form. So I think there's something there to grab onto and push. And since you already know what you're talking about,
yeah, exactly.
You have something to add there, which I'm surprised you haven't done yet. Like I knew you did the reselling thing. So I wasn't sure where you were going with your YouTube channel, which is I don't care. Haul videos are fun with me.
Yeah.
But there's something to grab.
Yeah, I mean, for YouTube, I've already made the decision too that I want the Lord of the Rings. I've loved Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, and I have all the sets, and I'm like, you know what? I think it'd be fun to try to just give reviewing a shot, because that's originally what my YouTube started out as back in 2010 or whatever it was. Were reviews. Yeah, I privated all those videos really bad. Actually, some of them have got, back then, one of the first video I ever did, I think it was at 8K, which back then 12, 13 years ago was actually not bad. But I think for the reviews too, I do want to do it more, not short form like a 60-second review, but kind of condense the review down, where instead of just me, for the Lord of the Rings stuff, for example, instead of just sitting there going through each figure, just talking about the box, all that sort of, I kind of want to make it more of a story. And Brandon, a buddy of mine, Brickingham28 on Instagram, he gave me a good idea for the Lord of the Rings, do them in order of where they appear in the show. So that way it's almost like a story where you're reviewing each set in the appearance of the movie. And I want to give context, like where is this showing up in the movie? What is, is this accurate to the movie scene? And then give brief, a review of the Lego set. But I don't want to sit there for 10, 15 minutes reviewing, for example, like the small cart in that set. I think rather do it kind of more fun, give it a story. And I don't know, I'm working on it right now. So just kind of want to test that out and see how that goes. Because reviews, everybody does reviews. But for me, the one good thing is that Lord of the Rings reviews, there aren't that many. And a lot of the ones I've seen are not very good. And it's just older stuff. So that's part of the reason too. So, I mean, mine probably won't be good either, but you never know. And it could.
So one thing that I will admit that the short form content is teaching me specifically is how to be precise.
Exactly.
So that should help you.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was like, instead of trying to I don't want to say force myself because that sounds bad, but instead of like, okay, I need to make a 10-minute, 15-minute video about this one thing. Why not? I want to test out trying to do like a 60-second video, like I said, at least once a week. And then I think that'll help improve any videos I do in the future, where if I get down, the editing style down, where I can edit a 60-second clip in, I don't know, 45 minutes, whatever. I don't know how long exactly it will take me, but then I can kind of translate that and start making the videos a little bit longer depending on what it is. So I think that main thing is just the experience. I just haven't done it enough. So I think that's what I need to start with. And I think
I think they're totally different beasts though. And I think the audience of short form content and what people want out of it is different than like longer form, but it's kind of the same argument as like the difference between an 8-minute video and a 45-minute video on YouTube. And both are watched just in different ways. And it's like, one has to be like, your channel has to be reflective of that, obviously. But to be totally fair, like, I think it is quite telling. And I think we've talked about this a lot as like content creators, and what makes good content is, I think a lot of people have trouble editing themselves down. It's either egoism or being like, people have a lot of trouble in general throwing out their work, right? And like accepting that something might be bad and then restarting from the beginning. And then there's also the issue of over redoing stuff, right? But let's say you're in that front end of like not being able to throw out stuff. Something like a reel or a TikTok video puts a parameter on you. Therefore, you're forced to do that. And it's kind of like a discipline thing. So like if you transition to YouTube, and this is something that I've tried to do, and I think not that I'm like a huge YouTuber in any shape of the word, but my favorite videos of mine that I enjoy going back and watching are ones where I had 6 hours or 3 hours or 1 hour, or whatever it was, of actual film content that we took to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's almost like I remember the challenge that Sans and I gave each other on a couple of these videos. We were like, how can we get it to be so quick and so speedy that it can't be any any faster, because then the context would be completely eliminated from it, right? And so I thought that was a really interesting exercise, and I enjoyed it. So I'm like, I'm saying like I completely understand the parameters, but you can also set those for yourself in other aspects. It's kind of like when you have a morning routine or you're at the gym and you're like, I'm going to do this and this is how much time I have to do it. And you're like, it's like most great things and great successes comes from rules that you set, a square that you create, a perimeter that you have that you set in, and you work within that. And it's like the challenge is creating those lines, and something like TikTok and whatever Reels essentially do it for you. You just have to be creative within those parameters. Yeah. And it's not revolutionary. You know what I mean? It's really quite the simplest thing ever. And anybody can do anything within those simple parameters, which is what's really interesting about it.
Yeah. I 100% agree.
Wow. Claire with the meta, always. It comes in clutch every single time.
It's totally honest, because the way I think about any design challenge that I've ever had, or even cooking, if people tell me what they like, or if I've got a few people coming over and one is vegan or gluten-free and blah, 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 sometimes the coolest stuff I've ever made have come out of those situations that I've been in, because I've had to figure out how to snake around that, whatever that is. And I thrive in those environments. If I'm in a rigid situation where it's this is all you can do and figure out the best solution for this thing, that's when I shine. But my issue is, at least I'm sure other people have this, is creating those for myself. And I need to have an accountability partner, whether I'm working out with somebody, whether it's YouTube, whether it's my business. I don't have the capacity to do anything on my own. And that's helped me a lot when I realized that. Do you know what I mean? Even though everything in my life is.
If I were to give you a canvas and say, draw something, anything, you would have a hard time.
I mean, I could figure it out, but
it
wouldn't be great. It wouldn't be excellent. You know what I mean? It's it wouldn't be the best that I could do. And it's I kind of need somebody to bounce ideas off. And it's not a dependence thing. My life is my own. My decisions are my own. I have my own discipline. But it's so great to have accountability partners in, you bouncing ideas off of, Brickingham,
Yeah.
What's his name? I forgot his
Brandon.
name. Brandon. He's a nice guy.
Great guy,
right?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then you go see his condo and it's got crazy amounts of stuff and you get inspired, and it's just it's having people around you and setting parameters and having them help you set parameters, I think is only success can come from that, Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree too, where I've tried to spread myself out more with people in groups, and especially on Instagram. And I think that's part of the reason too. I felt more inspired just meeting. I mean, my only other interaction with the Lego community has been you guys. And obviously, we've known each other for a while now, but it's been nice too, to kind of branch out a little bit too, and see what other people have to offer and what other groups are talking about, or get ideas from if I had not met Brandon, I've grown to become pretty good friends with Brandon and Pat and other people too as well, which I think is kind of cool. And just looking back at my Instagram, the graph, you can see the dashboard of your impressions and all what you've grown in the past month. It's been crazy in the past month. Just because I've been posting more. So obviously
you've been posting. Yeah, you've been active. It's you have active social media now for the first time.
I don't know if you can see it's 2,000% in the last month, which is crazy.
Up on Instagram?
So, yeah. And
that's what happens when you first start uploading, if on YouTube as well, and all those things. It's all your videos are 1 out of 10, 1 out of 10. Yep. Every single I miss those days.
The hard part is maintaining that and keep excelling.
Yeah,
but don't put your head bogged down by that yet.
No, I also have a little bit of regret on the last YouTube video I posted, because it actually did it's the best video I've done since I started doing YouTube again, quote unquote doing YouTube. But if I had made just a video about going over Brandon's collection, it would have done way better, because everybody clicked on it because of the thumbnail and they saw and the title. And so everybody watched the portion up to where I left his thing, and then majority of people, except for the people that have subscribed to me, clicked off because they wanted to see the
What
Lego
did
Star
you
Wars
learn
collection.
there? So you learned something. That's something
Yeah.
you learned.
You
did
learn what
there?
happens with clickbait. Like
Yep.
that's
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I could have made a whole video, you know, of just his collection, and that probably actually would have, quote unquote, maybe have gone viral, in the sense that I got 4,000 views in like 2 hours on the video, and then it just crashed.
I don't know if I would interpret it that way. There's like so obviously who knows if that's like what it could have done. But I think it's also like telling of like your thumbnail isn't reflecting the other content that's in your video maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And like whatever vibe, whatever you're selling on your thumbnail, it needs to like maybe like match up with it. I don't know. You know, there could be like a disconnect with it, you know, because like it's going to sound awful, but I've been told this many times. If it's good content, people are going to still stay and watch.
Yeah.
You know, and if it's edited right, like if that was like your cliffhanger, right? It's like his collection, then you hint at it from the beginning, you keep hinting at it through it. And like it's at the end. It's not,
so,
you know, it's not wherever it was.
No, I agree. I think the thing is, it just wasn't planned out to be that way. It was more of it was there in the vlog or whatever, and that's just what happened. But looking back, you know, hindsight is 2020. If I had planned that out, it could have been done like what you said.
You never know.
Yeah.
There's so many things you plan out on YouTube. There's like, that's the thing about this social media stuff. There's some parts that are like controllable. Then there's some that you just kind of like are like throwing caution to the wind. And it's like that you plan out and you spend a really long time doing it and whatever, and theoretically and on paper, and it should like do great, and it just like doesn't. And you're just like, but you can't, there's a lot of like throwing, I don't know. I like, what is it like when you're throwing like, just trying to hit a target? And
knives or
whatever the expression is.
I know the expression. Yeah. And I mean, obviously everything is controlled too by an algorithm too. So there's that aspect, because I've heard lots of people say they spent hours, you know, this is the most they've spent on a video. They thought it was the best video they've ever done, and they post it and it just not even close to what they expected.
And they spent all the time like on the thumbnail and the title. They thought of like everything, right? The tags, the description, they promoted it, they uploaded it at the right time. So it's not even like it was like the best video, but it like wasn't packaged correctly, right? Because packaging is like what, 90-80% of it. And so it's, I don't know, it's kind of nuts. It's cool, but I'm really excited to see you uploading content, you know, whether you're getting help doing it or not. I don't think there's any.
Yeah. Well, that's, yeah. I know we've talked about that.
Yeah. But that's, as long as you're getting stuff up there, it's good. But like the more you do stuff, the more you learn. At least like for me, like I feel like even though like I've slowed down on videos, like I still watch a lot. I'm still like kind of absorbing information. I still love it. It's great. Like, you know, it's cool to see you like more active, whether it's on Whatnot or whether it's on Instagram.
Yeah. And I plan to, all the shorts and things that I do, I plan to edit all those obviously, and reviews too. And for the reviews as well, I do want to kind of what you were saying, when you set boundaries, that's when you do best in a way. And for the reviews, I think for me, and just for what I enjoy too, I think it'll work better if it's condensed, to where if I have a guideline and say, okay, I don't want to go over 5 minutes or whatever for this review, and stick to that for the majority of the reviews, and people come to know, oh, these reviews are going to be quicker paced, you know, they know what they're getting, versus a 20-minute review or a 15-minute review. Just that separation, just a bit of a different style, I guess. And there might be outliers, because there is the Tower of War thing, which is a big Lord of the Rings. I don't know if you could do that in 5 minutes without skipping a lot of stuff, but
that would be pretty cool.
Could be the challenge. Yeah. So I don't know, just trying something different, because there have been so many reviews and it's a very saturated market. So you have to do something to separate yourself. Otherwise you're just never going to break through that barrier.
I like what you said earlier about putting more of like more focus on the movie than the set.
Yeah,
that sounds interesting to me.
I think that's the thing that's missing in a lot of reviews, where it's what if there's somebody who enjoys Lord of the Rings, but they happen to stumble upon a Lord of the Rings Lego video,
right?
Or vice versa.
Careful with that.
Yeah, I know you're mixing two.
Yeah. I learned that.
Yeah,
because what you don't want, because when you make a good video, you want your next video to be just as good.
Yeah.
And you wanted to, whoever started subscribing and watching your stuff, you want them to keep watching your stuff. And the one thing that you want your numbers to be up on is not only returning members, but like, not only new people coming to your content, but returning.
Yeah, definitely.
Because that tells YouTube something. That tells the algorithm something, like if they're not coming back to watch your stuff, why?
Yeah, and that kills the channel.
Yeah.
But also too, what if there's somebody who likes Lego, but they've never seen Lord of the Rings? They have no idea what this is about, where it's referenced in the movie, what the context is. But if you give them a little bit of that context, and then they see that, it makes more sense to them, and they can say, oh, that's pretty cool. It looks like what it was in the movie, or whatever. I just think providing that context, a little bit of backstory in a fun way will be cool. So we'll see.
Even at this time, like there's probably people that haven't ever even seen Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah, I have come across people all the time, and I'm like, oh.
Well, right now is a good time to do the Lord of the Rings stuff because of Amazon.
Exactly.
So if you're gonna hit something that's trending right now, because of the show, which looks, I mean, I saw the previews right now. They're decent. I'm excited to watch it. So like it's a good time to do it. If you can do it right, it should hit. So or at least it should do well. It should do okay at least. So as long as you do it right. But the one thing that that I struggle with is doing stuff at the time that it should be posted. Like right now is the time to be posting that, because
and I think for me too, the fact that I just now posting, I don't think for me that should really matter. Even like I just need to post. It doesn't even matter really for me at this point when or what I post.
No, if you do it now is a good time.
Yeah,
like, anytime right now is a good time, because it hasn't even been released yet, so it's like it's going to be relevant for some time.
So but I mean too, just that since I haven't been posting at all is just better than not posting.
Yeah, that's true.
So, and I did think too about maybe like, what if I did for Instagram a 60-second review on Instagram and do the full like 5-minute, even still more condensed, but a 5-minute review on YouTube. I don't know if mixing those would work well, but I also had thought about that too. And what
you're just gonna have to do it and see what happens.
Yeah,
do like
all
a
of it's a
minute
learning
trailer.
experience, like every single thing.
Or that too, maybe a minute. Like just give a very brief overview, and maybe not even really review the set, but just kind of talk about it.
Yeah. It's like little clips.
The fact that you're thinking like this, it's good.
Yeah, this is the most. This past month is the most I've ever thought or done with any sort of content or YouTube or Instagram, whatever. And it's been I've actually really, really enjoyed it. And I honestly can't say what exactly was the driver, but I think it's a mix of factors.
Wait, what threw you into into making content?
Yeah, it was almost like I said earlier, a light switch was flicked. I don't know exactly what caused that, but it's been really fun.
You put the controller down.
I think that's a big factor, but I don't think that's all of it. But yeah, I think that's probably might be 50% of it though. You get if you're playing video games 3 or 4 hours a day, that's 21 hours back in your week, 28 hours back in your week. You can do a lot of stuff in 28 hours.
That's like a part-time job almost.
Yep. That's at least 3 videos, 28 hours at least. That's assuming you're spending 8 or 10 hours on a video. So yeah, I'm very excited.
Well, I hope you continue, and I know Claire's excited. Keep doing it. Don't be sometimes it's gonna get rough.
No.
Don't let that bog you down. Just learn. As long as you learn something from every video you post, it's a win.
Yeah. Oh, I've learned so much in the past month. It's been really good.
All right. Well, is there anything else should we hit with Michael before we turn? No.
Maybe do a review.
I can't believe we didn't talk about Minecraft this whole time.
I know. Well, that's another thing. I think we can talk about that next time. But there's so many. I'm very excited. I've thought about so many things, but there's not enough time to talk about them all.
Yeah, I feel like you should really. That's your short format content right there.
I think so. Yeah, and
there's a lot of cool stuff there.
There are so many people that are doing really well doing that, and it's
there you go.
I think there's still that there's a lot of people doing it, but I think there's still so much that can be done.
Of course. Yeah, I think with everything. I mean, we constantly see like breakthrough Lego YouTube cases, not to overuse that term that's been used for.
Yeah, and there's a few that have obviously been outshining everybody, but
yeah, which is cool. Yeah. Like that's great.
It is cool.
That's only better for everybody else. Like I think, like super jealous or whatever. This is good for the whole community. But anyway, until next time. Yep. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been awesome.
And with that being said,
Finally.
let's roll that music. All right, guys. Peace.
Okay.
Nice, man. I guess we have a part 2 coming up with
Yeah.
Minecraft. So you need to get on that so we can talk about that.
When it's closer to the holidays, we can talk more about reselling and stuff like that too.
Yeah, for sure.
I bet it spikes during the season. Huh?
Oh, it does, especially for specific things like that Christmas X-Wing. That's going to go up a lot as the months come.